Greetings, Goddess Body, Mind, Spirit community. This is your Goddess Guru, Tyra Omilade, here to share a word of inspiration with you on your path to self-realization and self-mastery. Today is December the 5th, 2019, and I want to talk to you about astrology for parental guidance, or how to use astrology to navigate the parental journey. I'm sort of careful using the words child and kid because YouTube is doing what it should do to protect our children, but dang, they are hypervigilant. But actually, someone had asked me to speak on this, and so I want to just sort of give it. I think what I want to do more than anything is talk astrologically, but you could use oracles. I've used oracle, like, y'all know I've only done astrology or been into astrology since like 2017. So I've, not always used it, though it has come in handy since I've started using it. But more than just astrology, using oracles, numerology, getting readings. It's a lot of things we can do. People talk about children are not born with a guide. That's a lie. That would be a lie. That would be a lie. We all come with a manual. We just have to learn how to access that manual. Okay. And so I do believe it's important that parents, first and foremost, use things, especially like astrology, numerology, or, getting like a life reading or something like that. Because in E5, the child will get an Odu to understand, why is this child here? What is this child's personality? What are their inclinations? The flip side is actually you should know yours. Okay, because that's going to explain so much about how you relate to your child. So if you understand that you're more hot and fiery in nature and you got this sensitive child over here, if you're not aware, you might just think your child is like weak and it'll make you mad, right? When no, your child isn't weak. Your child's constitution is more watery and sensitive. Or, you might be more of an introvert. Child's an extrovert, and if we're not aware, we're thinking, why my child always needs to socialize? Well, maybe your child is a Gemini, or maybe your child has a lot of planets in the third house and you don't. You're introverted. You might be, a little scorpionic, little Capricorn-like. So, you have to know you and you have to know your child. And that will give you so much information on the best way to deal with your child. And, something I've watched my husband do, because he's not super touchy, huggy, feely, he's exceedingly confident, just naturally confident and just sort of unto himself, But when he realized we have, these kids, they are a little relational. He was like, oh, I got to change and make sure that I be to them what they need me to be to them, even though it's not really who and what he is. And it turns out the older our kids get, the more they sort of, they're confident, they are unto themselves. They're still relational, but they are sort of like their dad, just naturally, So, when you understand what your child's makeup is, and to a certain degree, when you understand why do they have the interest that they have, the world is like, don't let your kids watch TV, too much TV, and, play all these games and all that kind of good stuff. And that's all modern day stuff. I get that. I get that. It is something that we have to keep a handle on. But true, I mean, it's just where we are in our evolution. Technology is a big deal. And there are some children, they don't care. Like my older son, initially, he sort of started off into wanting to game quite a bit and stuff. And finally, he was like, later for this, I'm going to a taekwondo class. I want to go work out. I want to go lift some weights and go do some other things. I really don't like playing games a lot. Whereas my younger son, he's total gamer, total gamer. Well, if I listen to the world, I might would be concerned about how much time my younger son spends, or his obsession, not obsession, but he just really loves gaming and online stuff or whatever. But, I know his chart, he's a techie. It's just how it is with some people. Some people are more techie. Okay. Nowadays it's gaming. Back in the day, it was something else. There's always some technology that somebody's crazy for, right? And that if we can accept, oh, my child might be a little techie, then, we don't use that as punishments. Oh, well, if you're not acting right, or threats, or I don't know how to explain it, because I do believe in having, boundaries and limits, and, setting up expectations for this is what's acceptable and not acceptable. I'm not into letting children run amok, if anybody knows me, but by the same token, there's a part of me that understands, there's a way to guide a child, and going at them. It's like, you know, telling a child who loves to read, you can't read. Well, we might would say, oh, I'll never do that. But then, we get the kids who love football or basketball or games and stuff like that because we don't value technology or sports. And we know that's their language, and, that's how we punish them. But when you begin to realize you can use what they love to help bring out the best in them, don't let the world tell you this ain't right for your child. If you realize how to make it beneficial, these things can come through divination of all sorts. I do think astrology and numerology do a really good job of teaching, like, things that are, you can really learn about the personality and what this person's inclinations will be, and using that to help enhance bringing out the best in the child or guiding the child's behavior. Okay. There's always the parenting, things that we need to do because we're the adult in the room. But I have found that understanding my children's personalities and their destinies, because the other thing is, I remember hearing the man that created Pixar, I think, talk about his obsession as a child with cartoons. I think it was. He was obsessed with cartoons. Well, you never know, a child who's obsessed with cartoons, you may be like, get serious, stop watching all these cartoons, especially as they get older. That child may be obsessed with cartoons because this child is going to grow up and create freaking Pixar. And so if you know your child's chart, then you might would understand why they're doing something that is a little obsessive and other people might perceive as weird, but it's a part of their destiny. It's a part of their inclination. So for instance, if your child has planets in the fifth house, or, well, I'm just going to keep it simple. If your child has planets in the fifth house in their astrological chart, that child may be obsessed with some creative endeavor of some sort. And that would be the best thing for you to do, is to get them into that. If that child is feeling lost, you realize this is a really creative child. Don't push them to sports. Push them to what's in their chart, which is arts or creativity. It may not be the arts. It may be they're going to be creative through, what's this big thing? STEM, robotics or something like that, right? So understanding your child's personality will tell you a lot and help you to understand how to navigate the waters. Another thing is just doing a reading for your child every now and again, whatever that means for you. It could be daily, maybe weekly would be good. just pull a card for that child. And you may not tell the child what the card says, but it'll give you some inclination and some idea about what to expect from your child that week. So when it shows up, you're not like, wait, whoa, 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 where's all this coming from? Um, and if you know astrology, or maybe you pay somebody to get the transits for the year, or it typically 6 months, they might do a year. 6 months is typically pretty good to go out. So you pay, learn the transits, and you can sort of anticipate, because the astrologer will tell you, okay, this is probably what you will see an emphasis or focus for your child. This will be a pretty good time. It should be. Or this might be a rough time. These are the things that you might want to think about. These are the areas, and this is what you do. So, for instance, um, I know someone who is dealing with a child who has an illness, and I can look and see this is something you probably, need to consider, that you might have to sort of deal with a little extra something over time. I don't think it's going to be solved right away. But maybe I can see these are the points that will be the most intense. These are the ones where you really need to take this seriously, and these points might feel a little bit more smooth, during this time. So um, that way you're not taken aback, like, what the frick is going on? Um, and it's different ways. You have to find out. Maybe you go to a psychic, or whoever you want to go to. Of course, you can always come to your girl. Um, but um, okay. So let's say you realize, let's say you have an oracle deck that you use. Maybe it has the angels on it or something, and you kind of get the sense that this might be a little bit of a rough week for my child. Let's say that your child is a Virgo. And that Virgos, typically they're going to have to watch what they eat. Virgos can sometimes have a little bit of a negative, they thinking, and can kind of blow things out of proportion, just thinking about them, like nothing's really wrong. And you notice that the house is in disarray. Things are not really decent and in order. Well, you would ask the Virgo, do you want to help me clean up? Because getting things in order makes a Virgo feel better. Sun, moon, or ascendant, doesn't matter. Getting things in order. If stuff is too out of order, that Virgo is probably going to be like, And even if you can't really solve the problem, let's say it's, they're at school and they just aren't having the best time with friends at school. You may not be able to solve that problem. They're going to have to learn how to navigate that. But what you can do is help them to understand, when you are feeling stressed, let's clean up, let's get organized. Or maybe you say to the Virgo, okay, let's go into the kitchen and cook, prepare some healthy food. Because Virgos are all about healthy lifestyle. Let's go for a walk, do something that has to do with health, organizing. Another thing would be, okay, let's create a list of whatever you need to get done. Because typically if a Virgo is feeling out of balance, if they can get a list of things to do and they actually achieve, checking off boxes on their list, that just creates an automatic shift for the better in them. And they might stop thinking about whatever is at school bothering them. And it does take a little bit of work to begin to understand, you have to read each child. A lot of us got one, maybe two. For those of y'all that's got 3, 4, 5, 8, you've got a little bit of work on your hands. Maybe. And the ones that are the easiest sometimes are the ones you most need to watch, because they will get lost. Okay. But maybe you have one that's a little easy and you can be a little focused on another one. But yeah, you have to really take this time to study the manual that is Oracle. of your child. Um, but things that you can do every day, regardless of if anything is going on or not, is you can definitely say your prayers, and you can, um, I light candles every day. I'm lighting candles and on my different altars. I call on the Orisha, and I pray for my children as well as all the children in my family. If I know something is going on with my friends' children, I really pray for everybody every day. But specifically, my own two, I am. I have these candle rituals. Well, really, my children, my nieces, my nephews, and my young cousins. I have these candle rituals that I just created, and I just light the candle, and it's little tea lights, so I can do this every day, and they just burn out when they're done. I light it, and my thing is I'm praying for protection and that they do well in school, that they feel good about themselves, that they stay in alignment with their destiny. Sometimes I might light a special candle if something's going on. If I know they're achieving something big, they're really working on something, I might light a separate candle. Um, but I would say mostly outside of the prayers and lighting the candles, when they're younger, I watch them. And then when I see whatever the oracle was talking about manifest, then I'm not shocked by it. And I just sort of help them navigate it. As they get older, um, it's like I find a way to share the wisdom if they're open to it. Like straight up, this is what the oracle said. But if not, I just find a way to, it might be a suggestion. So if I know the child, the oracle indicated the child was going to wake up and not feel confident about their test, I may not say, well, the oracle said you weren't going to feel confident. Instead, I already knew they were going to wake up and not feel confident. It may not be so specific. It might be they just may not feel confident. I find out they're not confident about a test that they have to take. Then I could say, well, okay, so, maybe I just talked to them about it. Like, why do you think you're not going to do well on the test? Oh, it sounds like you studied. So typically when you study, you do well on the test. Or, I bet you're going to do better on the test than you think. I'm definitely praying for you. I'm definitely going to be keeping you in my thoughts and prayers. I'm speaking it right here and right now. My child's going to do well on the test. I just do this whole mama thing, right? So I let the oracle guide me so I know what to say, even though I may not tell them what the oracle has said. So that's a few tips that I want to give you all. Woo. I've made several videos today, and this is the shortest one because I'm telling y'all I can talk, and I need to get a handle on this thing because don't everybody want to hear me talk for so long. But thank you for listening. For those who do like a thorough explanation, this is Tyra Omilade, your goddess guru. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all the new subscribers, to all those of you in the inner circle. And if you would like a reading for your beautiful, darling son or daughter, let me know. You can go to my website, request a general reading, and just let me know it's for your child. If you have specific questions, let me know. I can do a general reading. I can look at the transits, I'm open to how I can assist you based on what you need. And so, yeah, that's at goddessbodymindspirit.com. I love you all. I love the babies. I love the babies. As I get closer and closer to having 2 adult children, I am resolute that one of my main goals and objectives will be to do readings for people to help them in their parenting, to help them make sure that they keep their children on the straight and narrow path to their destiny. This is Tyrone Milade. Thank you all so much. Love you. Peace.